The chamber was silent. Daniel's hand hovered in the air, trembling inches from hers, her glowing eyes fixed on him. Unblinking, endless, like two stars burning only for him. Around them, the silver figures stood frozen, their light pulsing slowly, waiting. The ship itself seemed to hold its breath. Daniel's mind screamed. His heart thundered in his chest. One half of him wanted to grab her hand to believe in her promise. The other half wanted to run, to tear himself free, to cling to the fading memory of his old life. But deep inside, he knew there was no escape. Slowly, with a shaking breath, Daniel's fingers touched hers. The moment their hands met, the world exploded in light. A surge of fire ran through his veins, burning and freezing at the same time. His vision blurred white. His body lifted from the strange floor as though the ship itself was pulling him apart. He screamed, but the sound vanished. His voice was gone, swallowed by the blinding light. The girl's voice filled his head. Stronger than ever, not soft this time, but thunderous. Awaken, visions slammed into him, not images this time, but memories. Not his memories, but hers. He saw her birth. A child in a chamber of glass, floating between two worlds. Not fully alien, not fully human. He felt her loneliness, her endless search. Her silent cry across the stars. I need you. He saw her world's death, but clearer now. It was not only the sun. It was war. Civil war. Her people turning against each other as the planet burned. And then he saw something worse. Earth not in the future. Not in some vision. But now. Hidden wars, secret fires, things no one on the surface knew. Governments whispering of weapons that could end everything. He saw shadows pulling strings. He saw Earth walking the same path as her world, closer than anyone believed. Daniel gasped, but the visions did not stop. He saw himself, but not as he was. His eyes glowed like hers. His skin shimmered like theirs. He stood taller, stronger, no longer just human. And behind him, both worlds knelt, broken, waiting. His heart raced. Was this destiny? Or was this a lie? The light finally faded. Daniel dropped hard to the glowing floor, gasping for air. His body shook, drenched in sweat. His veins still burned, as if the visions had carved themselves into his blood. The girl knelt beside him, her face calm. Her star is watching. Now you see, she whispered. Daniel's voice was raw, broken. No, I saw too much. You didn't show me hope. You showed me chains. Her expression did not change. Truth is never soft. It cuts, it binds. But without it, you are nothing. Daniel's fists clenched. His voice rose with desperation. You say I can save both worlds, but what if you're wrong? What if I destroy them instead? For the first time, her lips curved into something like a smile. Not kind, not cruel. Something in between. That is also truth. Salvation or destruction. They are the same key. Daniel's chest tightened. His breath caught. He looked into her glowing eyes and realized what terrified him most. She did not know either. She was gambling everything. Her world. His world and him on a choice she could not see the end of. The silence pressed in again. The silver figures stirred, raising their arms. The ship trembled with deep, low sound, as if the stars themselves were waiting for him to speak. Daniel whispered, his voice shaking. So, this is my fate. Save or destroy. Her hand still rested in his. Her voice was soft now, almost tender. No, Daniel. This is our fate. And before he could answer, before he could pull back, the chamber vanished. The floor beneath him dissolved into light. The figures disappeared into shadows. The stars bent and folded. The ship tore itself apart in silence, and Daniel felt himself pulled, not upward, not outward, but between. Between Earth and her world, between human and alien, between savior and destroyer. The girl's voice was the last thing he heard, whispering like a promise and a warning at once. This is only the beginning. Then everything went black. Daniel stood in silence, his body shaking, his mind drowning in confusion. The alien girl's hand still hung in the air, glowing faintly, waiting for him to take it. Her words echoed inside his head. If you refuse, both will fall. If you come, both may survive. The chamber was still. The tall silver figures in the shadows did not move. The ship itself seemed to hold its breath. Daniel's chest rose and fell with every sharp breath. He whispered, almost to himself, "How can I choose? I don't even understand what's happening." The girl tilted her head. Her glowing hair floated like threads of light around her face. Her voice was steady but soft. Choice is the test. Fear is the lock. Only you can open it. Daniel swallowed hard. You're asking me to leave my world? My family? My life? For what? For visions? For strangers I don't even know. Her star-like eyes brightened. Not strangers. Not anymore. You carry us already. You felt it? You saw it. Daniel's fists clenched. I saw images you put in my head. That doesn't mean they're real. Her gaze darkened, and for the first time, Daniel felt something sharp in her tone. Do you believe your world is safe? Do you believe it will never burn? You saw what waits for you. That was not illusion. That was a mirror. The words hit deep. He wanted to deny them, to shout that she was lying. But part of him remembered the news he had seen back home. Forests dying, oceans rising, storms worse every year. Was it really so impossible? Daniel stepped back, his voice breaking. I don't want this. I didn't ask for this. The girl lowered her hand slowly, her eyes never leaving his. No one asks for destiny. It comes, it takes, it changes. Refusal does not stop it. Her words were heavy, final, like stone dropping into water. Daniel's thoughts spiraled. He pictured his mother's face, the streets of his small town, the comfort of a life that suddenly felt 1,000,000 miles away. Then he remembered the visions of her world, towers burning, oceans boiling, her people crying out for help. His heart ached. He was caught between two worlds, one he loved and one he had never known. But both seemed ready to die. He looked at her again. She floated in the shifting light, beautiful and terrible at the same time, like an angel and a predator combined. Why me? He whispered again, weaker this time. Her eyes softened. For the first time, her voice carried something almost human, a crack of vulnerability. Because I chose you. Daniel froze. She drifted closer, her face only inches from his. Her glowing eyes held his with unbreakable intensity. Out of all the voices, out of all the stars, yours answered. You heard me? You saw me. That is why it must be you. Her words shook him more than the visions had. It wasn't just destiny. It wasn't just survival. It was personal. Daniel's voice trembled. And if I say yes, what happens to me? Her answer was calm, but heavy with truth. You will never return. You will never be the same. But you will live where others die. You will carry two worlds in your blood. You will become more than human. Daniel's hands shook. He felt as if the floor itself was tilting, pulling him toward a cliff. Behind her, the silver figures raised their arms again. A low hum filled the chamber, vibrating through his chest. The air grew heavy, charged with energy, as if the entire ship was waiting for his choice. The girl's hand lifted once more. This time, she did not speak. She only waited. Daniel's breath came faster. Sweat ran down his face. His mind screamed, "Don't," but his heart whispered, "What if?" He saw his mother's face again. His town, his small window where he had watched the stars. Would he ever see it again? And then he saw her dying world. The screams, the fire. Her people fading into shadows. The silence pressed down. His own heartbeat was the only sound he could hear. Slowly, Daniel raised his hand. It shook, but it moved, inch by inch, closer to hers. The girl's glowing eyes brightened, not with triumph, but with something else. Relief, maybe even hope. But just before his hand touched hers, Daniel stopped. His chest tightened. His voice was almost broken when he whispered, "What if I can't save you? What if I fail?" Her voice filled his head again, soft and final. Then we all fall together. The chamber went silent again. The silver figures lowered their arms. The ship seemed to wait in endless stillness, and Daniel, trapped between two worlds, knew his choice would decide the fate of more than just himself. Daniel's hand hovered in the air, inches from hers. The silence in the chamber pressed down on him like weight. The silver figures in the shadows stood still, glowing eyes locked on him. The ship itself seemed to wait, alive and listening. The girl's voice filled his head again, soft but sharp. "You feared choice. But choice is already made." Daniel's chest tightened. "What do you mean?" Her glowing eyes did not waver. "You were never only human. You cannot refuse what is already inside you." Daniel froze. The words echoed inside him, strange and heavy. He shook his head. "No, that's not possible. I was born in a hospital. I grew up in a normal town. My parents were human," she interrupted. "But not only. You carry what they could not see. A seed placed long ago." Daniel stumbled back. "No, you're lying." The girl floated closer, her glowing hair drifting like a halo. For the first time, her voice carried something darker, almost mournful. "We left pieces of ourselves in your kind. Generations ago, when the stars were still kind to us. You are the echo of that union. A bridge. Half ours, half theirs." Daniel's skin went cold. His chest rose and fell with sharp, uneven breaths. "Half yours?" Her star-like eyes flickered, and for a moment, Daniel thought he saw sorrow in them. "I am the same." Daniel's heart stopped. "What?" Her voice was calm, but beneath it was a pain she could not hide. "I am not fully of my people. My blood carries earth as well. That is why I can reach you. That is why I understand you. We are the same, Daniel. Half one world, half the other, neither complete, always searching." Daniel's mind reeled. His legs felt weak. He wanted to scream, to deny it, but deep inside, something clicked. The visions, the voice in his head, the strange pull he felt since the first whisper. It all made sense in a way he didn't want to admit. "No," he whispered. "No, I can't be." But then he remembered his childhood. Nights when he heard voices no one else could. Dreams of skies he had never seen. The strange sense, even as a boy, that he didn't fully belong. Had it always been there? The girl lowered herself until her eyes were level with his. Her voice softened, carrying a strange tenderness. "You always felt different. You always wondered why. Now you know." Daniel shook his head. Tears burned his eyes. "That doesn't mean I can save anyone. That doesn't mean I'm the key." Her gaze darkened. "It means you have no choice. Your blood binds you. If our world dies, your world follows. If you deny us, you deny yourself. The silver figures in the shadows stirred. A low hum filled the chamber again, vibrating through Daniel's bones. He felt the air grow heavy, pressing against his skin. He looked around, panic rising. What are they doing? The girl's voice was steady, unyielding. They wait for your awakening. They wait for you to take your place. Daniel backed away, his voice shaking. Awakening? No. No, I never asked for this. I don't want it. Her eyes glowed brighter, fierce and unrelenting. For the first time, she raised her voice, and it thundered inside his mind. Want does not matter. Truth does not wait for your comfort. The chamber shook. The starry ceiling twisted, showing flashes of both worlds, her planet burning. Earth's oceans rising, cities falling into ruin. The two visions overlapped until Daniel could no longer tell them apart. He dropped to his knees, clutching his head. Stop, please, stop. The visions ended. The silence returned. Daniel looked up at her, his face pale, his body trembling. So this is it. I was never really me? The girl's voice softened again, almost gentle, almost kind. You were always you. But you are more than you knew. You are both, and only both can save what remains. Her words hung in the air, heavy and final. Daniel felt the weight of them settle into his chest, pressing down on his heart. He was no longer just a man from a small town. He was something else, something he didn't understand, something that might destroy him. The girl extended her hand one more time, her glowing eyes unblinking. Take my hand, Daniel. See the truth fully. There is no going back. But there is no future without you. Daniel stared at her hand, his body shaking, his breath shallow. He wanted to run, to wake up in his bed and pretend none of this was real. But deep inside, he knew there was no waking up. There was no escape. He was already bound, and as his hand trembled in the air. Reaching closer to hers, one thought burned inside his mind. The truth was not freedom. The truth was a cage. Daniel could not feel the ground under his feet anymore. The world of grass and trees and night had fallen away. His body floated inside the blue beam, trapped in light that felt both warm and cold. His heart pounded, his breath short and fast, but his body would not move. The girl's touch on his chest kept him still. Like invisible chains wrapped around his arms and legs, the field below shrank. The houses became tiny dots. The whole town seemed like a toy world, fragile and small. Then even that was gone. Only black sky remained, filled with stars. Daniel's mind screamed, "This is not real. This cannot be real." But every second proved him wrong. The doorway of silver light swallowed him. Inside was not what he expected. No walls, no floor. Just endless space glowing with white and blue. Shapes floated past him, machines that moved like they were alive, wires that pulsed like veins. Orbs of glass filled with swirling clouds. It felt less like a ship, more like a living thing, as if he had stepped inside the body of some giant creature that breathed in light instead of air. The girl floated in front of him. Her glowing eyes never left his face. She moved without effort, like she was part of this place. Like she belonged here in a way he never could. Daniel tried to speak, but no sound came out. His lips moved, but the beam held his voice down. Then her voice filled his mind again. Do not fight. The more you resist, the more it hurts. Daniel forced his words through clenched teeth. Why me? What do you want with me? For a moment, she did not answer. Her head tilted, her eyes scanning him as though she was reading something invisible. Finally, she whispered, "Because you are the one we searched for. You are the one who can save us." Daniel's stomach twisted. Save them. He was just an ordinary man. He worked a normal job, lived in a normal house. He was nobody. Save you. His voice cracked. I don't even understand what you are. The girl's eyes softened, but her face stayed unreadable. You will understand soon. The blue light faded, and suddenly Daniel fell. His feet hit something solid. He stumbled forward, gasping, his chest burning with fear and confusion. He stood on a floor now, but it wasn't like any floor he had known. It shifted like liquid under his shoes, but held him up as if it were solid. Every step he took made small ripples of light flow outward. The room around him curved in impossible shapes, bending and stretching like it had no clear walls. The ceiling shone like a night sky filled with moving stars. And then, in the distance, Daniel saw them tall, thin, their bodies silver and translucent, as though made of glass and light. They stood in silence, watching him. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds. Their faces were smooth, without mouths or noses, but their glowing eyes burned into him. Daniel's throat went dry. He took a step back, but the girl raised her hand. Do not fear them. They are here for you. Daniel shook his head violently. For me? No. I'm just a man. I don't belong here. The girl floated closer. For the first time, her lips moved. She whispered with her real voice, soft but sharp, like crystal breaking. You do now. The figures around them moved. Slowly, they raised their arms. Light poured from their hands, connecting in the air above Daniel, forming a web of glowing lines. The web pulsed like a beating heart, filling the chamber with a deep, low hum. The sound shook through Daniel's bones. He dropped to his knees, covering his ears, but the sound was inside him. Stop, he shouted. What are you doing to me? The girl stepped closer, kneeling so her glowing eyes were level with his. She placed her hand on his shoulder. Her touch was light, but it pinned him in place. We are not hurting you, she said. We are awakening you. The light web above him pulsed faster. Daniel's chest burned. His veins felt like fire. His head filled with flashes, strange cities, oceans of black fire, towers rising into skies of red. He saw people, not human, but not alien, screaming as their world crumbled. He gasped, clutching his head. What? What is this? The girl's voice was calm, almost sorrowful. This is my world, and this is why I need you. Daniel fell forward, sweat dripping down his face. His body shook, but the images did not stop. He saw her people dying. He saw their skies breaking apart. He saw a planet on the edge of death, and then he saw something else, himself, standing among them, leading them, saving them. The vision ended as quickly as it began. The chamber went dark, except for the soft glow of the girl's eyes. Daniel lay on the strange floor, gasping for breath. His whole body ached, his mind spinning. The girl whispered again, her voice gentler than before. Now you see why you cannot return. You are part of us. You are part of me. Daniel's chest tightened. He wanted to scream, to deny it, but deep down, some part of him knew. The moment he stepped into the light, his old life ended. And the worst part? He was not sure if he wanted it back. Daniel lay on the shifting floor, his chest still rising and falling in uneven breaths. His head felt heavy, filled with fragments of visions that did not belong to him, burning oceans. Collapsing towers, cries of people he had never met. The chamber was silent now. The glowing web of light above had faded, leaving only shadows and the faint shimmer of stars painted across the ceiling. The girl stood near him, her white-blue hair floating gently around her face as though it had its own life. She watched him closely, her star-like eyes glowing with something more than light, something almost human. Daniel pushed himself up to sit. His voice was rough, broken. What did you show me? Her gaze did not shift. Truth. Daniel shook his head. That wasn't real. It couldn't be. Those places. Those people. I've never seen them. The girl floated closer until she stood only a step away. She reached out, and though her hand hovered inches from his cheek, he felt its warmth like a fire. You saw my home, she said. You saw what is left of it? Daniel swallowed hard. Your world. Her eyes softened, sadness rippling through them like waves in a dark sea. Once it was beautiful. Rivers of light, towers that touched the clouds, a sky filled with songs. For a moment, her glowing eyes seemed to lose focus, as if she were looking not at Daniel, but at memories far beyond him. But then it began to die. She continued. Our sun turned against us. Our seas poisoned. Our air burned. We fought. We searched. But nothing could save us. Daniel listened, his chest heavy. He wanted to deny her words, but the visions still burned inside his mind. He had seen that world tearing apart. Why show me? He whispered. What does this have to do with me? Her head tilted. She lowered herself so her face was level with his. Her glowing eyes locked onto his, and he felt a shiver run down his spine. Because you are not just human, she whispered. Daniel's heart skipped. What? Her voice grew firmer. Long ago, my people came to your world. We left pieces of ourselves there, in your blood, in your kind. And now, after all this time, you carry what we need. Daniel stared at her, his mouth dry. You're saying? I'm one of you. Her lips curved, almost into a smile, but not quite. Not one of us. Not one of them. You are both. And that is why you are the key. Daniel's thoughts spun. He wanted to argue, to shout, to deny every word, but he couldn't. Somewhere deep inside, the visions still burned, as if a part of him recognized them, as if some hidden piece of his blood remembered a world he had never walked. No, he said finally, his voice cracking. I don't believe you. I'm just a man. I live in a small town. I have a small life. I'm not special. The girl leaned closer. Her voice was soft now, almost like a whisper of wind. That is what makes you perfect. A bridge between two dying worlds. Daniel's fists clenched. Dying worlds. My world isn't dying. Her eyes darkened, glowing deeper, almost fierce. Not yet. The chamber trembled. The star-filled ceiling shifted. And suddenly, Daniel was surrounded by visions again. But this time, they were of Earth. He saw forests turning to dust, oceans swallowing cities, skies filled with fire. He saw people running, screaming, vanishing into smoke. Daniel fell to his knees, clutching his head. Stop it. Stop showing me this. The visions faded. The girl stood over him, her eyes calm but unyielding. It is not punishment. It is warning. Your world follows the same path as mine. You may not see it now, but the end is already written. Unless, Daniel looked up at her, his breath ragged. Unless what? She extended her hand, glowing faintly in the shifting light. Unless you come with me. Unless you help us. Together, we can change what is to come. Daniel stared at her hand. It was beautiful, glowing, almost fragile. But he felt the weight behind it, the weight of a dying planet, of a people he had never known, of a choice he was never meant to make. I don't understand, he said. Why me? Why not someone else? Why not anyone else? Her voice softened again, almost tender. Because only you can hear me. Only you answered when I called. Daniel's chest tightened. He thought back to the first whisper in his mind. I need you. It had felt strange then. Now it felt terrifying. The girl's hand remained outstretched. Her glowing eyes never left his. "Daniel," she whispered, his name echoing inside his head like thunder in a canyon. "Your world, my world. They are tied together. If you refuse, both will fall. If you come, both may survive." The silence that followed was heavy, crushing. The watching figures in the shadows did not move. The chamber itself seemed to wait. Daniel's hand trembled. He wanted to reach out, to take her hand, to believe her. But fear wrapped around his heart like chains. He whispered to himself, almost too quiet to hear. The night was quiet. The small town slept under a dark sky. Only a few streetlights glowed, and the sound of crickets filled the air. The houses stood still, and the roads were empty. But in one small house at the edge of town, a young man named Daniel could not sleep. Daniel sat by his window, staring at the stars. He often did this when he felt restless. The stars always gave him peace, but tonight felt different. The sky looked brighter, sharper, almost alive. The stars seemed to blink in strange patterns, as if they were trying to send a message. He leaned closer to the glass. Then he heard it, a whisper. It was soft, almost like the wind. But the sound was not outside. It was inside his head. The voice was calm, almost gentle, but it carried weight, like it came from somewhere far away. "I need you." Daniel froze. He looked around his empty room. His bed, his desk, his books, all silent. He held his breath. Maybe he was tired. Maybe his mind was playing tricks. But then the voice came again, louder this time. "I need you." He stood up quickly, his heart beating fast. "Who's there?" he asked, though he knew no one was in the room. The silence of the night pressed against him. He tried to shake it off. Maybe it was a dream. Maybe he had started to fall asleep by the window. But deep inside, he knew this was no dream. The air outside changed. The crickets stopped singing. The dogs in the distance went silent. Even the trees stopped moving, as if the wind itself had frozen. Daniel opened the window. Cold night air rushed in, sharper than before. He felt a strange pull, like the darkness outside was calling him. His skin prickled, and he stepped back, and then he saw it. A flash of light. It was quick. Like lightning, but there were no clouds in the sky. The light came from above, high above the trees at the edge of the field. It glowed white, then blue, then vanished. Daniel's mouth went dry. He stared hard at the sky, waiting. And then the light came back, moving slowly this time. It floated, steady, like a star that had broken free. But it wasn't a star. It was closer. Too close. The voice returned, clearer now. "Do not be afraid. I need you." Daniel's legs trembled. His chest tightened. He wanted to run, but something inside him refused. It wasn't just fear. It was curiosity. Something deep inside whispered that his life was about to change forever. The glowing light grew brighter. It hovered over the field, pulsing softly like a heartbeat in the sky. The air shimmered around it, bending and twisting, as if the world itself struggled to contain its presence. Daniel's mind raced. Was it a drone? A plane? A trick of his tired eyes? But no, he knew. This was something else. Something not from Earth. He grabbed his jacket and stepped outside. The cold ground crunched under his shoes. Each step felt heavy, like the air around him was pressing down. His heart pounded so loud he thought the whole world could hear it. The town behind him was silent. The houses, the roads, everything felt far away. All that mattered was the field and the light waiting above it. As he walked closer, the light shifted. It wasn't just floating anymore. It was moving toward him, slowly, carefully, like it was watching him, like it was choosing him. Daniel's breath came in short gasps. His body wanted to turn back, but his feet kept moving forward. It felt as if invisible hands were guiding him. "Come," the voice said, "softer now. I need you." His hands shook. His legs felt weak. But he didn't stop. He reached the edge of the field, and the light hovered directly above him. The grass glowed pale blue under its shine. And then something unbelievable happened. The light split. Open, it was like a door in the sky had opened wide, spilling a flood of silver glow. Inside, shadows moved, shapes that did not belong to Earth. For one moment, Daniel thought he saw eyes. Large, bright eyes staring straight at him. The voice filled his head again. Clearer than ever, almost tender. "You are the one. I need you." Daniel stumbled back, his heart racing. His mind screamed at him to run, to escape, but his body refused. He was trapped between fear and wonder, between danger and destiny. The silence of the world wrapped around him. No sound, no movement, only the glow above and the voice inside his head. And in that strange, frozen moment, Daniel realized something terrifying. He was not alone. Daniel stood frozen in the field. The light above him shimmered like liquid silver, bending the night around it. His breath came fast, his chest heavy, but his eyes refused to look away. The world was silent. The crickets, the wind, even the faraway hum of the town, gone. It was as if time itself had stopped to watch what was about to happen. The light pulsed once, twice, then split open wider. Something began to descend. Not a machine. Not a shadow. Someone. Daniel's eyes widened. Out of the glowing doorway stepped a figure. Small, delicate, yet powerful. A girl, but she was not human. Her skin glowed faintly, almost like the surface of the moon. Her hair floated around her head as if it were underwater, glowing strands of white and blue. Her eyes were the most shocking of all, large, bright, and endless, like two stars had been trapped inside her gaze. Daniel's knees weakened. For a moment, he thought he might faint. But he couldn't look away. The girl hovered above the ground, her feet never touching the grass. She tilted her head as if studying him, her strange eyes piercing through his soul. And then, without moving her lips, he heard her voice inside his head. "Do not be afraid." Daniel stumbled back a step. His voice cracked when he tried to speak. "W.O., are you? What do you want from me?" Her eyes softened, glowing even brighter. "I need you." The words hit him harder than before. They weren't just sounds in his mind. They carried weight, emotion, and a strange pull he couldn't resist. Daniel shook his head. "Why me? Who are you?" The girl floated closer. The air around her shimmered like heat waves, bending reality. She raised her hand, and for a moment Daniel thought she would touch him. But she stopped just short of his face. He could feel warmth radiating from her palm, like standing near a fire. "You are chosen," her voice whispered. "You are the key." Daniel's heart pounded. His mouth was dry. He wanted to demand answers, but his words caught in his throat. Behind her, the glowing doorway in the sky shifted. Strange shapes moved inside, tall, thin figures watching from the shadows. He couldn't see their faces, but he felt their eyes on him. Dozens of them, silent, waiting. Daniel's body screamed to run, to escape, but his mind wanted to know. The girl lowered her hand. Her expression was unreadable, yet her glowing eyes held something almost human. A kind of sadness. A kind of hope. "Do not fight me," she whispered inside his head. "It will hurt less." Daniel's breath caught. "Hurt? What are you going to do to me?" The girl's lips curved, not quite a smile, not quite a frown. "Take you where you belong." Before he could move, before he could shout, the light around her surged. A beam of blue wrapped around his body, lifting him from the ground. His feet kicked helplessly. His hands reached out, but the pull was too strong. "No. Let me go," Daniel cried, but his voice was useless. No one in the town could hear him. The world outside the light no longer mattered. The girl floated closer until her glowing eyes were the only thing he could see. She placed her hand on his chest, and suddenly his body went still. The fear was still there, burning inside him. But his muscles refused to fight. Her voice filled his mind one last time, soft, final, unbreakable. "You are coming with me." The field vanished. The night vanished. The earth itself vanished. Daniel was pulled through the glowing doorway into a world of cold light and strange shadows. And as the sky closed behind him, one thought screamed inside his head. He was no longer human in the safety of his small town. He was no longer free. He belonged to her,